Have you ever thought about a fact that most countries in the world we simply know thanks to one or two famous sites and stereotypes? Like, take the French. They have their tower and bread that for some reason look quite similar. Americans, as we all know, love their hamburgers almost as much as they love their freedom. And when it comes to Japan, then for most visitors, this country is a land of pink cherry blossoms and extremely fast trains. Okay, these things are just super fast, like even the sound. And don't get me wrong, there is of course a fair bit of truth in each and every one of those stereotypes. But thinking in this manner can also be dangerous, making you to focus only on the most touristic places and so forcing you to miss out what in my opinion are the most extraordinary travel experiences only because they haven't been deemed tourist friendly by our media. And so the purpose of this video, it's actually quite simple. I want to take you to one of such places, a region that 99% of visitors that come to Japan have never even heard about. Yet, for us, it was the most magical location, a place that made us truly fall in love with this country. But as a bit of a backstory, this adventure started in Kyoto while Typhoon Shanshan, Japan's biggest storm in 2024, was raging through the country. It was a strange time to be a visitor in a foreign land. Each day we translated local weather reports to English, and every time we saw that the storm was creeping closer to us, leaving cities in its way looking like this. Until finally, just one day before the storm arrived in Kyoto, we decided to escape.
Today we're going somewhere remote. It's 4 hours from Kyoto and it's the definition of rural and old Japan. There is a slight problem though, because there is a huge storm that's coming.
Our road was headed east towards the more mountainous and forested region between the two most famous cities of Japan.
Absolute mayhem, but we're trying to stay positive in this absolutely chaotic situation.
And as we soon realized, it was pure luck that granted us the last two spots on a fully packed train. Every place on this train has somebody standing. Because after us leaving, all means of transportation were cancelled due to rough weather conditions for 2 whole days. Let's put some Lama. Oi, sorry. Yeah, monsieur.
Yeah. There's not much choice.
However, the views from the train windows, looking onto the green cloudy valleys, were truly mesmerizing. The village we were staying in was called Magome-juku. And when we finally arrived, it became clear that this ancient region of Japan has more to offer than we could have ever hoped, even in our wildest dreams. I don't know how it would look like on a sunny day, but when it's raining, it's stunning. Even the small rain clouds that had followed us from Kyoto could not dampen our moods. And straight away, it felt like we had entered some forgotten fairy tale.
It's absolutely stunning. It's so beautiful.
Magome was surrounded with ancient woodlands from all sides. I'm pretty sure that's a bamboo forest down there.
It looks like you're on a green screen.
What?
It looks like you're on a green screen.
The houses and roads built in the traditional style felt old, but were maintained very well. And it's super cool that the whole village is filled with sounds of water. Like the canals, they just run pretty much under the road, next to the road on both sides. And they're feeding their rice paddies all around the villages. But it just gives this very nice atmosphere to the whole place. It almost didn't seem logical that we were the only people in this incredibly gorgeous place.
There's very little places in the world where tourists haven't conquered and over visited places.
However, just like this, for nearly 400 years, that little farming village has stood in this very same spot. It sounds just as beautiful as it looks. Birds, insects chirping. I know that GoPro doesn't show it, but there's 20 dragonflies in my vision. The air is full of them. Okay, I'm sure some of you are now wondering, why would anyone even want to build a town in such a remote location? And to answer this, we need to start by first going back to the time when instant messaging had nothing to do with cell phones, and instead meant writing something on a piece of paper and letting the postman carry it to the receiver in the shortest way possible. And surprise, surprise, this village here was located on a 534 kilometers long stretch of road that happened to be the shortest postal road.
There was a trail going from Kyoto to Edo, and Edo was the place which Tokyo grew out of.
So yeah, historically this village was essential for carrying messages as quickly as possible between Japan's biggest cities. Yet to find out what purpose it serves today, we wanted to hike a small part of this trail ourselves on the following day. But our first day here, we finished with quite an unusual dinner. This small place on the side of the road sells Wagyu sushi, so raw beef sushi.
Yes?
Like,
It's like the best beef you've ever had. It's raw, and then there's some nice vinegared sushi rice underneath it.
so full of the marbling, it's so juicy.
This is some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing to eat.
Around sunset, we finally settled into our guest house, where we anxiously hoped that the weather next day would be on our side. The atmosphere next morning instantly lifted our spirits. Second morning in a paradise. But today we're not gonna stay for long, because turns out there's more places to see around here. And now our plan is to follow the ancient postal trail between the mountains to the next small village. Turns out that the forest and mountains had fended off the rain clouds. And strangely, it almost felt unfair that we were gifted a perfect summer's day while the rest of Japan was struggling with heavy flooding.
I'm super glad that we have a weather window like this, because yesterday it was raining and the typhoon is getting closer, but now it's absolutely gorgeous. There's sun, there's absolutely no wind. It's so beautiful.
Our trail headed straight into the forest that surrounded Magome. The route just casually turned into a beautiful forest. And it didn't take long for us to understand how privileged we were to be able to experience this rarely seen, wild and natural part of Japan. Just look at the low and beautiful clouds above the forest. Tall evergreen trees stretched upwards above our heads. And next to the bath, big waterfalls filled the air with thundering sounds. The fresh smell of rain and greenery created a feeling that we were somehow part of this unique ecosystem. The only sign of other humans was the road below our feet, and the occasional bells on the side of the road that at first we thought had something to do with a historic postal route. So I thought it was like 1 kilometer marks or something, the bells, so we can go like ding. But turns out we were totally wrong.
Ring the bell against bears, is what it says on the leaf.
It just says that there's bears in the woods and you need to hit the bell hard to make them aware of your whereabouts. Yeah, this kind of gives you the idea how wild this place truly is. At around halfway mark of the 8-kilometer trail, we ran into a historic tea house. Konnichiwa. It says free tea room on the door. I don't know, when something is free I sort of get suspicious, but we're gonna go and have a look. The open fire pit in the center of the building has been burning daily for centuries. It smells like smoke, giving the house a specific smoky smell and a dark, tainted look. The smoke rises up to the ceiling, that's why it's so black. Every item that we saw laying around us felt as a portal into the past of this country and region. This sewing machine is made by Toyota. That's funny. It's a machine that you can use to make rope out of rice stems. And then afterwards you can use every part of the rice plant and also get shoes or seating pillows. Hundreds of years ago, when the postal road was still active, such tea houses, they served a great purpose, like for the people passing through to take a rest, to have a drink, to just regain their strength, and it's very beautiful that they're still here. The second half of our hike was just as engaging as the first. Like, how can you not like this trail? It's just super beautiful. We passed through eerie bamboo groves. Just a thick bamboo forest on the side. Oh, there's a route that goes in. You wanna go? Let's go. I'm not even sure if camera shows it, but between every third tree there's a spider web, because they're just so close together. The forest is so thick that it makes a perfect hunting ground for the spiders. We walked on hauntingly beautiful forest roads. And so many small villages that are often overlooked and even abandoned in the rapidly urbanizing Japan. And up here you can see that quite a few of those houses have actually been abandoned.
This is the challenge of rural Japan, that a lot of people just move into the cities, and this is why there have been offers online for 5,000 or 10,000 buy a house in Japan. But the reason why these houses are so cheap is that they're either very far away from bigger cities, they are in bad conditions, the villages are dying out, so they want to increase the population in countryside places.
Yet whatever we encountered on the path, one thing always stayed the same. You see, compared to the life we had seen in Japan's mega cities, things here just felt real and authentic. I can't believe that I'm saying this, but I think you should forget about Tokyo, because here in the rural countryside of Japan, we have found the most beautiful place that this country has to offer.
This is absolutely amazing. You would have never guessed that this could be the favorite part of Japan for me.
There was no need for flashy lights or loud noises to keep someone's attention, because the tranquil atmosphere combined with the sounds of nature were more than enough to keep every visitor present with all of their senses engaged. Drinkable spring water straight from the mountains. A good place to fill up our water bottle. By early afternoon we made it to Tumo Yuku, the second of the many small postal towns on the famous Nagasendo Trail.
I think the sign says only you and your little Satan between 10 and 4.
That is a woman child, that is a girl. It has a bow on top.
Makes sense.
And once again we were speechless. From unique architecture
That's the cutest police station I've ever seen.
to the well-kept gardens where trees have been groomed for centuries.
Decades of work and like pruning that is thought through, and then you get those cloud-like beautiful, beautiful trees. Every second house has their own little water reservoir. There's koi fish in there. It's very lovely.
Every small thing around us just seemed to be a little piece of a large and beautiful picture. Even connecting with locals was much easier compared to the bigger cities, where Japanese people are known to be quite modest and closed off when it comes to foreigners.
Konnichiwa.
Welcome to Tsumago.
Arigato.
Are you a country? Country?
Estonia.
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 Welcome to Tsumago. Thank you very much.
Arigato.
And just like this, one small detail at a time, this little known part of the country started to leave its mark on us.
And this part of the town here is renovated and done exactly like it used to be in the 1600s.
This one looks exactly like the place where we had tea in the middle of the route.
We had hardly been here for 24 hours, but somehow, for the first time in Japan, we felt a sense of belonging, like a rush of happiness that created an imprint, a memory in our mind, although no specific memorable thing actually happened. And to this day, we simply remember those villages thanks to the feeling they created somewhere deep within us. The hours flew by quickly.
After 3 hours of walking, I too feel kinda hungry.
It cost us around $10 to fill our bellies with some unusual local foods.
Such an interesting concept. It's like sweetened and boiled fish, and it's still in one piece. Like you eat the spine, you eat, I think, the head as well. I'm not too sure about this, but it's very sweet, very tangy.
I actually think all the shots of me eating are not very cinematic. I'm not a clean eater.
And by late afternoon, we found our way back to Magome, which by now felt almost like home.
We were just walking on the streets of our so-called hometown, and Liisu was saying that Hiroshima and Tokyo and Kyoto are like must-see places in Japan. But next time we come here, I don't think we'll go to the must-see places, but this one here is not a must-see, it's I want to see place.
This is why you come to Japan. Like, this is my favorite place in Japan.
Yeah.
I'm sure we have all heard the saying of how little things in life matter the most. We know this saying to be true for happiness and relationships. Yet perhaps for the first time in my life, I now realize that the same thing also goes for traveling.
This is the part of this country that will make you want to come back.
Yes, exactly.
Peak sites like the Eiffel Towers and pyramids of the world create in us the initial interest towards a new country. But if you truly wish to know, or perhaps even learn to love a place other than your home, then the small things and places like Magome are the ones that create a lasting bond and connection that makes us want to visit those places time after time after time. friends, thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out the webpage linked in the description of this video. Over there you can find our favorite travel gear that we guarantee will make exploring the world easier and more enjoyable for you. Take care and bye.